Have you ever felt like in this moment or had a moment where everything seemed to be going right? Everything seems to be going right. Have you ever had a moment like that? People were responding to you, doors were opening, right? You felt like you finally were stepping into something, and then suddenly everything shifted. Not a little, but enough to make you question, literally breathe. What's happened? What just happened? If that's where you are right now, and I know I've been there, and there's some days, and this morning was one of those days where I said, what's happening? What is going on today? This message is for you because what feels like disruption is often the doorway to identity transformation. You see, most people don't struggle with momentum. Momentum is great, right? They struggle during the transition before momentum and after, and especially after momentum, because we expect life to move like this: progress, more confirmation. But the real transformation doesn't work like that. It often looks like recognition, pressure, pain, release, alignment. And if you don't understand that pattern, you'll misinterpret the moment. You'll think, I did something wrong. Maybe this isn't for me. You'll think, what? Why does this feel harder now? Remember, you just came from a place of momentum, right? When in reality, you're not being pushed out, you're being pulled deeper into who you actually are. So, let me give you a different lens, an identity first lens. Not everything feels feels like loss. Not everything that feels like loss is loss. I want you to sit with that for a second. Not everything that feels like a loss is actually a loss. You see, not everything that feels like pressure is punishment. Sometimes it's separation from old identities and old dependencies and old relationships and old ways of being that cannot go where you're going. And maybe people in your life that can't breathe where you're headed and you're trying to pull them along. So, because let's tell the truth, you cannot step into a new level of assignment carrying an old version of yourself. Now, in the word, it talks about um, new wine skins, new wine skins, because old wine skins are not, um, they cannot hold the fresh new wine. They're not prepared for that. That's so you need new wine skins. And when you step into the new level of alignment, it is not beneficial. It is not practical. It is not wise for you to even attempt, even though I've tried, and I'm sure other people have too, to come in with the old version of yourself. Because as soon as you come through, you feel the friction. Your brain feels the congruency of it. And that's when you want to run and fight, or you want to look and say, what's wrong? But honestly, This is the moment that most people continue to resist. They try to hold on to what felt good, what felt certain. And our brain does that, what feels validated. But transformation is something deeper. So, transformation is not change. Transformation is a metamorphosis that happens. It is a breaking out of to do something new and look different. Think of a butterfly and breaking out of the cocoon. And this is the brilliant thing about nature. When people try to help a butterfly come out of the cocoon because they're saying, they're fighting so hard, let me help them, they're not able to fly because they haven't built the wings that allow them to do what they were designed to do. So let's look at this framework. Let's make this clear and usable. When you feel this shift, you are moving through 3 phases, at least 3. Okay? Phase 1 is recognition. Things are working. You've seen, you've affirmed, you feel movement, but this is not your destination. It's the invitation. Phase 2, separation. This is where it feels uncomfortable. Things shift. Our brain has issues with this. Clarity feels tested. What worked before doesn't feel the same. This is where most people turn back. This is where a lot of people end up with procrastination. If you stay, you're empowered at another level. If you move forward, you're empowered at another level. You begin to literally stabilize what's going on. You begin to move forward at a different level. That is the key. Not because everything fixed itself, but because you changed. You see, transformation is a process, is not a destination. Your identity caught up with your identity, caught up with your direction, is going to cause momentum at some brilliant level. But remember the phases. One of them is separation. That's the phase when sometimes we want to look back instead of looking forward. So the shift. So if you're in this moment right now and you're looking at life feels like somebody flipped, one day everybody was celebrating you and now you feel like people are destroying or after you, or people chatting about you and you're the subject of people's gossip or whatever. Remember that you're not the same, that you're going somewhere, that you're doing something that you have been designed to do. You're reaching for your identity at some deeper level. Now, for me, I'm a believer. So, the reason that I'm really coming, and I want you to look at this from a lens and know that, yeah, last Sunday we were saying Hosanna. People were saying Hosanna, right? Today they're saying crucifying. So, what in your life have people celebrated you on when you were staying where they were comfortable with you being there? And now there's a shift happening. And this shift is causing people to relook at who you are and even causing you sometime. Let me talk about me, causing me sometime to look at who is this chick? Who was showing up? Johnny, what's going on? But it's because I need to move. I need the momentum But I also need the separation. I need the peace. And I'm not volunteering for the pain, but it comes as part of the stretching and the pulling and the growing that's moved forward. When you stretch a rubber band, it does not go back to its original form. And the same thing in our life. When we're stretched, we become different. Our thoughts are different. We move forward. So I want you to stop asking this question: why is this happening to me? I know. Put it in the chat. Why is this happening to me? And reframe it and start asking yourself, what is being released so I can become who I am meant to be? Because this moment is not here to break you, it's here to separate you from what no longer fits. It no longer fits your future. You're stepping deeper into who you were designed to be. So take a breath. Just think of this. If Jesus had to do identity first, then what do I need to do to bridge the fracture between who I am designed to be and who I am showing up as? And return back to who I am. So if you're off track, if you feel like other things are happening, just keep these things in mind because it is a process. You Because you're not off track. You may feel it, but you're not. You're not really off track. You are not being denied. You are not behind. You are not going backwards. You are being refined. Alignment causes for alignment, causes for refinement. And if you're ready to walk that process intentionally, and if this gave you some clarity, subscribe, like, and share, because here we don't build from pressure. We build from identity. And your identity matters. You matter, your identity matter. So don't get caught up in other things. Know that for gold, for diamonds, for all these precious gems and things that we value, they were designed and created under pressure. And so as you move forward, enjoy your today, enjoy the moment, and start being who you were designed to be. And so what I have decided is that I'm looking at the gap between where I am today and where I know in this moment, my knower says who I am. I'm embracing who I am and bridging the gap between the reality of where I currently am, and embracing who I was always designed to be. And that's my thought for you today. So don't forget to put comments if you have questions or concerns about how to build, how to grow, how to step into this identity first construct. Please don't hesitate to put the information down there. Identity first is built on biblical, biblically based principles. Hey, and it's built on Napoleon Hill, and it's built on obviously some neural change, neuroscience, and it's built on wisdom. that I've lived and you've lived and life is happening. So have an amazing day.